Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the ELEVATELOGIX 2023 edition of our Supply Chain Forum, where we embark on the virtual journey into the dynamic world of the supply chain management. And I am thrilled to be your host today as we explore the latest trends, challenges, and innovations in the world of supply chain management.
Before we dive into the exciting agenda we have ahead, let's take a moment to reflect the essence of supply chain management. At its core, supply chain management is the art and science of ensuring that products and services seamlessly flow from their point of origin to the end consumer. Now, you might think of a supply chain as a simple thing. It's complex and interconnected web of process involving procurement, manufacturing, distribution, and logistics. It's a backbone of global commerce, influencing everything from product availability on store shelves to the speed of e-commerce deliveries. Now, as we gather virtually for this supply chain forum, we have the privilege of hearing from industry leaders, experts, and innovators who will share their insight on the latest trends, emerging technologies, and best practice in supply chain management. Viraj?
Before starting our discussion, I cordially invite Shashika. Welcome to you all. Over to you, Shashika.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Shashika, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to the Elevate 2023 edition of our Supply Chain Forum. The special welcome to our esteemed speakers, Mr. Saridhu Rajapaksa, Distribution Center Manager, Senior Business Analyst at John Keys College PLC, and Sampath Taranga, Assistant Manager, Supply Chain at PGP Glass Salon PLC. Head of the Department, Dr. J.D.T. Madhankar, Post Coordinator, Mr. D.M.D. Satrika, and all the lecturers, last and foremost, all the students of the Department of Marketing Manager. Your presence makes this event truly expectational. Today, we are here to explore the heartbeat of global commerce supply chain management. It is more than logistics, it is the lifeline of business. Connecting product to people without the tail. Let's dive into the day of knowledge, networking, and innovation. Thank you for being part of this supply chain forum. Let's the discuss begin.
Thank you, Shashika. Now my pleasure to introduce the two distinguished professionals who bring a wealth of knowledge and experience to our supply chain forum. Mr. Sarindra Rajapaksa, Distribution Center Manager, Senior Business Analyst at John Keys Holding PLC, and Mr. Sampath Taranga, Assistant Manager, Supply Chain and PGP Glass Ceylon PLC. So let's dive into the expertise of Mr. Sarindra Rajapaksa and Mr. Sampath Taranga. We are eager to gain insight that will undoubtedly sharpen our understanding of supply chain management. This virtual platform is over to you.
Yes, the virtual platform is not just for industry professionals, it's space for everyone interested in the world of supply chain management. So, student, this is an opportunity to be part of the conversation and and ask questions related to the supply chain management. And especially think this is not just a one-way conversation. We want to hear we want to hear you, our audience, throughout this event. Feel free to share your thoughts, questions, and experience. Your insights are invaluable. So over to you all.
Let's start our conversation like this.
Let's start our conversation like this. According to my knowledge, group of people working together to achieve goal and set up goals. This is called organization. And John Key's holding has played a main role in shaping Sri Lanka's economic landscape. As your manager of the distribution center, my first question is, can you give us some brief explanation about your company?
Yeah. So, hi, good evening. Am I audible and visible to you all? Hello. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah. So, can I start? I think it's a lag in the internet. I think so. So, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Great. So, good evening again. Yeah. So, thanks for the invitation. First of all, I would like to thank for the organizing committee, as well as for all the participants to letting me in to your program, and to giving me the chance to share my knowledge and experiences with you all today. So I'll start like this. So you asked me about John Gill's Holdings. So basically, I can say that the John Gill's Holdings is a a group of companies which has a 150 years of excellence when it comes to 2020. So now it's 2023, so there are 153 years for the mother company, John Kills Holdings. So it's a actually a it's a group of companies which has seven sectors, right? Seven sectors, like we can say it's a leisure, retail, transportation, and banking, and stockbroking, like that. So we have seven sectors in John Kills Holdings. So the John Kills Logistics, which I belongs, is coming under the transportation sector. So in the transportation sector, we have 10 companies under the sector. And so my company is John Keels Logistics. So we are mainly focusing on the 3PL businesses, which means we are taking the goods from the suppliers, we are transporting, we are warehousing, we are managing the inventory, and we are doing the distributions and value adding services like that. So in John Keels Logistics, we have seven distribution centers at the moment, which are spread in the western area, which are closer to the airport as well as in the harbor. So, as I said, our main work is managing the supply chain of the other manufacturers and mainly focusing on the 3PL businesses. And we have up to now we have 25 plus clients managing in our warehouses. So that's a brief about John Kills Holdings and John Kills Logistics.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Sampath, as Assistant Manager of Supply Chain in PGP Glass Ceylon PLC, can you do a small introduction about your role and your company?
Yeah, good evening to all. And first of all, I would like to thank you very much, you all, to inviting me address young, energetic crowd like you. PGP Glass Ceylon PLC is now it's not Piramal Glass actually. It's a PGP Glass Ceylon PLC. In 2020, USA company acquired from the Piramal Glass company to the PGP Glass. So it's coming under PGP Glass Ceylon PLC. Our business is PGP Glass is the only glass manufacturing company in Sri Lanka. So we have monopolic market within the Sri Lanka. From our production, 50% we are serving to the local market and whole local market, and rest 50% we are exporting to USA, Canada, China, USA, and like 15 countries we exporting. When I'm talking about the glass industry, this is very significant and very different industry because our factories we have to run 24 hours, 365 days until furnace is expired. Normally, furnace is expired like 12, 15 years. We have to run our factory without interrupted 12 to 15 years. So you guys now imagine how is supply chains, how critical like glass industries. Our main raw materials are silica sand and dolomite and the calcite. 85% raw materials we are sourcing from the local and 15% we are sourcing from the foreign sources. So right now we have monopolist market in Sri Lanka. So this is the brief introduction of our company. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we all have good idea about your companies. When I'm talking about suppliers, suppliers play a crucial role in any business, acting as the backbone of any operation. So, choosing the right suppliers is essential for ensuring the quality, cost effectiveness, and smooth operation of our business. So, Mr. Sarandu, I suppose that you would answer with a question. My question is, how do you identify and qualify potential suppliers?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, finding suppliers is the most critical part, right? So in order to have the smooth flow of our operations, so we have to find the good and the potential suppliers for every operations, right? So when it comes to finding suppliers, first of all, we have to have a clear understanding about what are our requirements and what are the criteria which we are looking for, right? So without knowing that, we cannot go for a supply, right? First of all, we have to have an understanding about so what are the suppliers that we are looking for and what are the services or the products which we need from them, right? So we have to have clear understanding about that. Then what we need to do is we have to do market research, right? So there are several suppliers who are supplying the same materials, same services and goods, right? So we have to do a market research and find out who are the best suppliers among the the set of suppliers, right? Then we can have a good communication with the same industrial peoples, right? And then we can ask from them, so have you done a similar part like this? Have you purchased something from these kind of suppliers? And we can get some references, right? Then we have to have a set of suppliers, and then we have to measure their capabilities, right? So capabilities means, we have to identify whether they are reliable, right? First of all, we have to identify whether they are reliable and their quality of the products, right? And also their prices, right? These three things are coming first, right? So first of all, we have to make sure they going to supply the goods or services what we are expecting on time without any delays with the exact quality and with a reasonable price, right? So by identifying those things we can categorize few suppliers, and then we can go for we can ask proposals from them, right? So we need quotations, right? So what are the warranties that you are giving to us for supplying these kind of goods, right? So we can go for negotiations, we can ask for proposals, right? And then finally, with the help of our procurement team, so we are going to find the exact supplier which we need, which balance the requirement which need as well as the cost aspects that we are looking for. So the best supplier have to supply the goods and the services we need without any interruptions with a reasonable price. So those are the things that we are looking for when we are going for a supply. Basically, it's better if we can go for their facilities, right? For an example, let's say we are finding a food supplier for our staff members, right? So first of all, we are going there, right? Then after gathering all the data, we are going there. We physically going there and check whether how they are doing it. Are they clean? Do they have the PHI certificate and like that? So we have a clear, we can see from the eyes how they are performing, right? So after gathering the data, after getting the quotations, after visiting the facility, if a supplier is willing to supply goods and services for us with a reasonable price, with a good quality and reliable, so we are going for that supplier.
Okay, sir. When we talk about supply chain of pyramid glass Ceylon PLC, sir, can you briefly explain how the supply chain functions within your organization?
Yes, when it comes to the supply chain functions, mainly we know what is the supply chain. I think you know the theories. The main supply chain functions are purchasing, operation, logistics, and the information workflow. If I say about the purchasing, first of all, we'll see what is the theories of the stages of the purchasing. In PGP Glass Sri Lanka, we are using system, SAP. We have to purchase, procure all the items through the SAP. First of all, each department, let's say our stakeholders, they have to raise PR through the SAP system. Then it will go to our HODs, they will approve the PR. Then as a supply chain, we have to call quotations. The supply chain norm is a minimum, we have to call 3 quotations. So after calling the quotation, we are doing quotation evaluation. Let's say quotation evaluation means we just not checking only the prices. We are checking, as Sarindu mentioned, the lead time and the quality of the material and the reliability of the supplier, their legal uh, ability to make business within the Sri Lanka. We are searching all those things. After evaluating the quotations, then we are making PO based on the SAP system. Then PO goes to the approval levels. Then after approval the PO, it will goes to supplier. Then supplier can supply product and it will come through the stores. Then they are doing GRN and providing to the our stakeholders. Then it comes to operation. Operations means actually planning. In our company, there is a separate planning department. They are the plan. They are planning. They make plan based on the marketing plan. Based on the marketing plan, they are making production plan. Then based on the production plan, they are ordering all the materials. This is called operation. Then logistics. Obviously, logistic should happen on time. In our company also, same. We are always doing 3PL logistic companies. We are making agreements with 3PL companies. Then they doing our services on time in nice way. Then final one is very important thing, the information workflow. As I inform, like Piram PGP Glass PLC, we have to link every time we have to link If one link break, our operation will stuck. So we cannot go front as nature of our glass company. So every time we have to communicate all the things to the among our team members. This is our main purchasing function in PGP Glass.
Thank you, sir. When I'm talking about challenges of meat and the supply chain, the smooth supply chain is very important for the survival of an organization. But any business has to face various challenges while running a business. By successfully facing those challenges, a business can be successfully run. So, Mr. Sarindu, my question is what are the biggest challenges you're currently facing managing your supply chain?
Yeah. So actually facing when it comes to some. So the G's we can say like disruptions, right? So disruptions means those can be like pandemics, right? Like that. So there are a lot of disruption. So for an example, uh, uh, as you may aware that definitely you are aware that what happens when it comes to the the corona pandemic, right? So whole supply chains was stuck, right, in that time, as well as you can remember that there was a fuel crisis, right? So in Sri Lanka, so in those two instances, the major industry which affected most is the supply chain, because for to perform other industries and other production facilities, the supply chain and logistics is mostly important, because the that industry is the one that means supplying the goods and services and other things to the end customer from the origin, right? So if it stops, it's directly affecting to the every almost every industries. So the natural disasters like corona, as well as the fuel crisis, and so other disruptions like supply disruptions, right? So those are major challenges. So in order to overcome from those things, we have to have some contingency plans in order to identify the disasters or identify the disruptions in advance and take some preventive actions, right? Always we have to be very proactive. So for an example, let's say during the fuel crisis, right? So we made some agreements with the customs as well as in the Lanka Marine Services, which is another John Gill's company, to purchase fuel directly from the bunkers, the marine gas oils, in order to function our distribution centers and transportation activities. So like that, so we have to have some contingency plans in order to overcome from those kind of disruptions. So disruption is one, and also we can say that there are some the balancing the cost and the quality of the products, right? So when it comes to 3PL businesses, we have suppliers and we have clients. For our clients, we are suppliers, right? So we have to provide of good quality products within the cost margins that we have, right? So when it comes to the economic crisis that we are currently facing, it's very challenging to supply such a quality products or services to the customer by balancing our budgets, right? So that's also very important. So we have to the procurement team has a a big task to find out the quality suppliers with low cost, right? Then we are searching for those kind of suppliers, and the same thing happens to our clients as well. They are searching for a cheaper suppliers, right? So managing the cost as well as the quality that our clients are expecting is also a major challenge. And also the demand fluctuations, right? So that's also a major impact, right? For an example, let's say in warehouses we are allocating resources, right? We are allocating and the securities, as well as we have some fixed fleets to transport goods and services, right? And also we have trains deployed in the warehouses, right? So we have allocated some resources, but what happened, suddenly the demand drops, right? What happens if suddenly the demand drops? What, we have some fixed costs, right? We have to find any way to cover those costs, right? So the demand fluctuations, for an example, we had, during the corona pandemic, so one warehouse is in Tudela, right? We are doing exports of the garments, right? So suddenly the world demand got dropped, right? Suddenly we have in those days we have handled 20,000 CBM per month, but it drops to 6,000 CBM per month, right? More than 50% drop. So what happened, right? So we have to find different locations to locate our card. We had to, some rent out the machines that we had, like comes to our industry, as well as, having the real time visibility, right? So, you know, in order to do this kind of task, we have to have a proper planning, right? To have a proper planning, we have to have informations on time, right? So having the visibility of the every part of the supply chain is also a challenge to the entire supply chain and supply chain industry. So there are a lot of challenges. So these are some major challenges which we are still suffering and we are finding solutions for. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, sir. Now, as undergraduates, we have learned a lot of metrics that used to measure effectiveness and efficiency of supply chain. So, Mr. Sampath Taranga, we would like to know what metrics do you use to measure effectiveness and efficiency of supply.
Yes, you are talking about the effectiveness metrics, right? As a PGP Glass, we are using a lot of metrics to evaluate the supply chain department effectiveness. The first one is obviously, before the start in the year, we are making budgets. The end of the year, we are matching, we are checking budget versus the actuals. Then this is the main index we are used to see the effectiveness of the subject department. If any variance, we are focusing what was happened, what are the shortfall, what are the incidents to unable to achieve the budgets. The second one is we are checking clearing bill preparation time. When we are importing the material US, in this clearing bill methods, government authorities to clear these bills. So clearing bill time should be minimized to effective our supply chain effectiveness. The other one is the port demurrages. Always we are trying to minimize the port demurrages. Then our supply chain department effectiveness is very high. The other one is the if there is any deviations, we are using FIPs, focus improvement projects. These are the main index we are using to evaluate the our effectiveness of the supply chain department.
Okay, so thank you. We know that John Keats has a range of product and services like Hill Supermarket, Elephant House, and financial services as the Nation Trust Bank and Union Assurance, like some kind of organization. Supply chain plays an incredible important role in the success of John Keats Holding PLC in Sri Lanka. Uh, so, would like to know, Mr. Sarindu Rajapaksha, what are your strategies for negotiating favorable contact with suppliers?
Right. So negotiation is the most interesting as well as most challenging part, right? So as I mentioned earlier, so for our clients, we are suppliers, and for few kind of suppliers, we are their clients, right? So identifying and negotiating with suppliers is, is a bit critical, right? It's tricky, but we have to consider about a few points that we will be able to manage the negotiation part, right? So first of all, as I mentioned earlier, so we have to have clear understanding about what we are requesting from our suppliers, as well as what are the points that we can negotiate, what are the things that we cannot negotiate, right? So we are going for a agreement. When we are going for a negotiations, we have to identify the points that we can negotiate, and there are some points which we cannot negotiate. Sometimes we can negotiate, but it's not at a value, right? So we have to have those kind of understanding prior for any negotiations, as well as we have to do a market research, as I told you, right, to understand what are the current conditions, right, what are the current prices for a particular service or goods that we are referring to, right? So we have to have that understanding as well prior for going for the negotiations, as well as, and then we have to have good relationships among the suppliers as well as the same industrial people to have the thing that I have mentioned earlier, right? Then, okay, then now we are in the position of negotiating, right? So we have to focus on these kind of points that I'm going to tell you, right? So it will helps to have a good agreement with the supplier, right? First of all, we have to have their cost structure. We have to have understanding about their cost structure. Their price is, the price has a breakdown, right? So for an example, let's say we are going for a transport supply, right? So so they, in their prices they have, fuel price, they have maintenance price, they have insurance price, they have their own profit margin, and like that. Okay, so having understanding about their cost structure, we can identify it to which point we have to negotiate. For an example, let's say there was a sudden fuel price hike, as well as the fuel price suddenly dropped, right? So in those kind of things, for an example, I give the same example. If we have the understanding about the exact portion of the price which the transport supplier offering to us, right, we can go to them and we can ask, okay, the fuel price is now a little bit low, so can you deduct this portion from your price, right? So it's better if we can have an understanding about their cost structure as well. And also, we can give some volume commitments to them. This is a win-win situation, right? So anyway, suppliers also having their own fixed cost, right? So coming into an agreement means they are responsible to supply us what, no matter what happens, right? So we have to give some commitments, right, to them. For an example, for transport supplies, we are giving like 2000, 2500, 3000 kilometers per month, right? Even though you are completing it or not, definitely we are paying it, right? It's a win-win situation, right? So anyway, that commitment should cover their, at least their fixed cost and part of their profit as well. So for giving commitments also very important when we're negotiating with the suppliers, as well as, we can have some flexible contracts, which means it's also a win-win situation, right? So if there is some uncertainties happen during the agreement period, we can agree, we can have some clauses, right? If these kind of things happen, we can change this agreement to this level, right? We are doing it for a few clients which we are having, right? We are having end target, right? We are uh, expect revenue at the entire financial year. We are negotiating it with the supplier. We say that, okay, at the end of the year, we are planning to achieve this kind of revenue. If a volume drop, you have to pay a discount for us. And if the volume hike for in a particular month, we are going to give you a discount, right? So it's a win-win situation. So it doesn't matter how the
Like that, we are focusing about the planning. This is what happened in a PGP Glass.
Thank you, sir. Risky decision can lead to financial losses, such as financial loss and reputation. Any organization has the potential to be risky. Mr. Sarindu Rajapaksa, how do you manage the risk of supply disruption in your company in supply chain?
uh, right. So as I mentioned earlier, so under the I explained this one, right? So we have other than the natural disasters and economic crisis, supply disruptions also play a major role when it comes to challenges in supply chain, right? So we have disruptions, right? So we have to have contingency plans and we have to have backups, right, to meet for face those kind of disruptions, right? So the first one is most common one actually is having a supplier pool, right? What is supply pool? Which means for same kind of goods and services, we are not relying on one supplier. Okay, so we are having a pool of suppliers which we who are able to supply goods up to standards with a reasonable price, right? So without relying on one supplier, if we can have a pool of suppliers, so doesn't matter if one supplier drops, so if they are negotiating in a different kind of things, right? So we can drop them and we can go for the other supplier, right? The major one is having a pool of suppliers without relying on one supplier. So there's another concept that the same, like same the having a pool of suppliers, right? We can having dual sourcing, right? Dual sourcing means, right, for an example, let's say, okay, we have transporters, right? So in the first instance, I have mentioned that we have 2 or 3 transporters and getting one transporter at a time, right? So if he fails, we can go for another. But dual sourcing means we are supplying the same thing from a couple of suppliers at one time, right? For an example, for machine parts, for tires, right? For other supplies, right? We are dual sourcing, right? We are purchasing at one time, but from different kind of suppliers at one time, right? So it also helps to reduce the disruptions. And having regular audits of the suppliers premises is also important, right? So we are visiting their premises and we are meeting them, we are discussing, right? So then we can identify, are they going to face any troubles in the future, right? Are they going to compliance, make some compliance issues, right? So are they okay to face for the challenges which we are seems that they are going to face, right? So having supply audits also helps, right? If we found those things, we can motivate them also to have a contingency plan from them for their side, right? So it's also helps. And also in our end also we are having risk assessments, right? So to identify potential vulnerabilities, right? So having a risk assessment from our end as well as from the suppliers end also helps. And also we can uh, we can agree on some, yes, uh, you know um, with the we can include some service level agreements, like if you fail to do these kind of things in a given period of time, those are proactive actions we can take rather than uh, waiting until what something happens. So yeah, those are the things that we can use to reduce the supply disruptions.
Thank you, sir. When I'm talking about supply chain. Supply chain is the backbone of any organization. And Mr. Sampath Taranga, my question is, how do you identify area for improvement within the supply chain?
Mr. Sampath, I think you are on mute.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, when it comes to the our improvement supply chain improvement projects, when it comes to the PGP Glass, we are using lean management system in our company. So based on the lean management system, we have identified a lot of improvement projects to enhance our product quality and service quality. As example, our main one of the main raw materials is a dolomite. So we are highly concerned about the dolomite chemical composition. But unfortunately, in Sri Lanka, we cannot get that quality material from the our suppliers. So what we did is we all ran action plans to get our desired quality materials. The other one is our improvement. The other one is we have to we have a lot of single sources materials. Like let's say, we are using furnace oil only from the CPCs. So what we are planning now, we are, as Sarindu mentioned, we are going to get agreement with the other companies to get the bunk oil. This is a one more improvement things. The other one is we have using lot of machines like agent. Only one agent doing services within the Sri Lanka. So now we are going to buy OEM projects. They say the second quality, but the quality is the same. Price is very low. These are the we identified the improvements project in the PGP Glass up to now.
So thank you. When I think of the heart of every successful lifeblood that keep goods flowing smoothly from point A to point B. Mr. Sadhu Rajapaksha, my question is, what are the transportation modes and carrier do you use to move products in your company?
Currently, actually, we are solely depend on the road transportation modes, right? So for an example, we are using every types of trucks for transportations, starting from Batta to 10.5, right, and 14.5, 16.5, 18.5, 20 footers, and 40 footers GP and high cubes, right? Basically, 40 footers we are using for the export purposes, and for the domestic transportations, we are using up to 20 footers lorries. And also we are having a plan, we have a new client which is planned to onboard in next couple of months. So we are having some sort of negotiations with that supplier to having a railway also as a mode of transportation to transport goods for longer destinations, right? So for an example, let's say we have a order that we have to deliver to Jaffna, right? So if one vehicle goes there, right, that vehicle have maximum capacity, right? But we have to wait until that truck returns back to go for the other orders. But having a larger capacity with a minimum cost, the best way is having the railways. So we are having negotiations with the suppliers to include that mode as well. But for the currently, we are having trucks as our mode of transportations, and after we delivered it to the harbor, definitely it will carry out from the ships and also from the air freights. And for now, for domestic transportations, we are managing with trucks.
Thank you, sir. When I'm talking about disruption of the organization, Mr. Sampath Taranga, my next question is, how do you handle unexpected disruption of organization change?
Yes, country like Sri Lanka, we always facing unexpected disruptions. If I talk about this, we can categorize into three from the government, because of the government decisions. Some are happening, some social factors, some are natural disasters. When it comes to government, we have experience from the last 2022. We faced to huge crisis, and we had no fuel, we had no gases, we had no power. So in that situation, how we manage is always we try to get the more sources. Let's say we are using LPGs. In Sri Lanka, we have only two sources. We make one more tank and we ask them to come and work with us. So we introduce two sources, and we are using furnace oil 36,000 liters per day. We know at that time we unable to find at least 1 liter of furnace oil. So what we did is we engaged with the as Sardu mentioned, with John Keels and some other local suppliers, some other suppliers to get the bulk oil. Then now we run the our factory. The other one is the at the social factors. As our personal experience, we had I think 2020. We all know the Sinhala Muslim ethnic crisis happened in Digana. A lot of our dolomite suppliers based on the Digana. So we are unable to get the raw material on time. So what we did is after a few months, we are be able to find some supplies from the other areas as well. So how we face to that situation. The other one is our factory is situated in a Horana. Always we are facing to flood. So in that case, we have to maintain enough uh, stock to the run the factory. Otherwise, our factory will be collapsed. The normal norm is we have to maintain optimum minimum stock level, but in this case, we have to maintain like 6-7 days stock to run the factory. This is how we facing to the uninterrupted challenges.
Thank you, sir. My next question is uh, logistic is the broad concept of the movement of goods from their point of origin in the final decision. So my question is, Mr. Sanindu Rajapaksha, can you discuss your understanding about logistic, inventory management, and procurement in your company?
Yeah, so for the first part, actually, I think you have given the answer, and also Mr. Sampath also given the answer for the first one in the very beginning, right? So the logistic is, we can, as you mentioned, the logistic is basically, the management of the flow of goods, information, and other resources from the point of origin to the end customer, right? That's a simple idea of logistics. It involves planning, implementation, and controlling, all right? And also the effective, managing effective flows, both forward flows as well as backward flows in the supply chain. So basically, logistic is the glue, right? It's the glue which combines the entire supply chain. In supply chain, we have different kind of parties. So the glue that combines the entire supply chain is, I think in my point of view, it's logistics, right? So the major components in logistics, as we discussed so far, like transportation, warehousing, inventory management, value additions, and distributions, and other activities. When it comes to inventory management, right? So inventory management is a part of logistics, right? Where we are only focusing on controlling the existing goods we are having in our warehouses, right? So the aim, it includes that ordering, storing, and using the inventory in most efficient manner in a way that minimizing the holding cost as well as the risk of stock out, right? So we are having different kind of strategies to manage the holding cost as well as in order to face this risk of stock outs successful, right? So that's basically the inventory management, which is comes under a part as a in logistics, right? So procurement is something different, but it's also a part of the logistics, right? The procurement is basically, acquiring goods and services and other resources to the particular organization, right? So in order to have a smooth flow of the operations in the particular organization, right? So in procurement, it's involves like the sourcing, right? So they are sourcing, they are finding the best suppliers and they are making negotiations and coming to agreements, right? And they are making regular contacts and maintaining the relationships with the suppliers, and make sure, right, every available resources for the organization are readily available without any interruptions. So that's what basically logistics and inventory management and procurements means in my point of view.
Okay, thank you, sir. Identifying and pursuing the most promising opportunities can be highly significant for any organization. So, Mr. Sampath Taranga, we would like to know what are the most promising opportunities you see for improving your company's supply chain efficiency?
Yes, supply chain opportunities is a first. I'm seeing as a opportunity to give the proper training to our staff. That is one opportunity. Then other one is the more negotiations. The other one is I am seeing e-procurement. In a PGP Glass Ceylon PLC, now we are looking at e-procurement portal to do the procurement part in efficient way. It called iValua. So what it happen is quotation calling and ordering, quotation calling, and the PO raising, everything happening through this e-procurement. This is very transparent. System cannot blame and favoration regarding the favoration. The other e-procurement option, e-procurement section, we can. This is the most promising opportunity which I made in recently. It's a e-procurement.
Thank you, sir. Well-organized layout minimize the distance workers and the equipment need to lead in and faster order fulfillment and the increase picking and also running out of stock leaders to pass loss of sale and potentially dispose the customer. So my question is, Hamidur Rajapaksa, how do you optimize your warehouse layout and inventory management system?
Yeah. So yeah. There are two parts in that question, right? So warehouse layout optimization, and other one is inventory management. So in terms of warehousing, right? So to have a optimize the warehouse layout. So there are different kind of strategies that we can use, right? So one is sometimes you may aware that having a ABC analysis, right? ABC analysis means we are categorizing the goods based on their value as well as based on their demand, right? We can categorize into A1, A2, B1, B2, right? Which means higher demand, higher value, higher demand, lower value, lower value, lower demand, lower value, higher demand, right? So based on that, we can categorize the inventories, and then and we can have a more focus and more allocate more resources for those kind of locations, right? So we can in the layout we can categorize for this particular area is the location that we have to store those kind of high demand, high value products, which we are giving a easy access, quick access to those kind of high valuable, high demanding goods, right? So we can use the ABC analysis to for our layout options, as well as we can go for cross docking, right? Cross docking, in other words, you can say direct loading, right? So we are not unloading the goods into the warehouses, but we are unloading from the transport the inbound vehicle to outbound vehicle directly without getting the goods into the stores, right? It's very you know the cycle time is very less, right? For emergency orders, we are doing that. For an example, let's say we have a port cutoff in today midnight, right? So the inbound vehicle is arriving at around 6 p.m., right? We don't have any time to unload the cargo into the warehouse and then reload it, right? We don't have any option like that. So we are directly contacting with the shipping line. We are requesting that, okay, we have these kind of containers with our premises. So just link the container number with what we are sending, right? So we are going for direct loading, right? So those kind of things also helps to optimize the warehouse, right? And also we can have some optimal slottings, right? We can separate the bins for, as you may aware, right? So we have racks in the warehouses. So we have levels which we are called fixed bins, right? The fixed bins are from ground level, the first level and second level, G plus 2 level, right? So first three levels we are mentioning as fixed bins, where we are storing the fast moving goods, right? We can go and just pick it through a forklift without using a reach truck, right? It's also time consuming, and having a layout with some sort of fixed bins which gives a easy access also helps. And also the utilizing the vertical spaces, right? In terms of warehouses, what we are focusing is utilizing the vertical space rather than the square feet, right? Even though a warehouse have a lesser square feet, if they can go up with a good racking system, right? So we can use the vertical spaces as well. So those are the and also having a clear aisles, right? So in the between the racks, if we have clear aisles, so it's also helps for quicker access. So those are comes under the warehouse, warehouse layouts, right? So when it comes to the inventory management, if we can move to just-in-time practice, it's also help, right? So to order what actually we need to supply for a particular customer, right? So based on the demand, right? Demand forecasting also play a major role. First of all, we have to have a demand forecast, right? So identify which products that we have to deliver in the coming week or coming month, right? Based on that, we are just ordering the raw materials which we need. So having a just in time, it's critical, right? It's need a good planning, but if we can adapt to just in time practice, right, it also help. And also having cycle counts, regular cycle counts, right? So we know that every year or every quarter we are having inventory counts, right? So, but what happens when it comes to inventory count? We have to stop all the stock counts, right? All the operations for a couple of days, and we are starting to count the inventory, right? It's a time-consuming task, and also it's interrupt to the operations. But having continuous cycle counts means we are doing a part of the inventory in a particular day along with our operations, right? So having a cycle counts also helps to identify the accuracy of the inventories without interrupting to the day-to-day operations. And also having batch tracking by adapting to the latest technologies, right? IoT devices, right? So internet of things, IoT devices, RDT devices. By adapting to new technologies, we can have real-time tracking, real-time batch tracking, whether they are expired, what are the batches that we need to pull first, right? So identify those kind of things also by adapting to the technologies, right? It's also helps to have a good inventory management practices.
Status. It is the driving for growth, innovation, and increased competitive advantage in today's rapid evolving world. So, Mr. Sampath Saranga, my question is how recent technological advancement influenced the way you manage the supply chain?
Yeah, answer is yes. There is advancement due to advancement, influence due to advancement of the technology, latest technology. So PGP Glass, we are using mainly five new technologies. As I mentioned before, iValue system. iValue means online purchasing portal. It's a very it's unique to only PGP Glass Ceylon PLC. What it happened is from PR stage 2 until PO session, everything happened through the iValue system. We are not doing any manual work, and supply also feeding quotation through the online portal. So we cannot intervene to for the favorizations or any other fixing. We cannot do anything. So they have to log into their system and they have to feed quotations until the PO levels. It happens through the iValue system. It's very transparent system and very nearly introduced to the PGP Glass loan. The other one is e-auction. By using this iValue system, we can do e-auction among the our selected suppliers. So it also happen in online. So we can personally suppliers, we can do any fixing. So this one also very modern techniques which are using by the PGP Glass Silo. The other one is we all know SAP HANA, we using SAP HANA system. And from this we can be unable, we don't want to send POs after releasing the purchase orders. We don't want to send personal to the by email or by faxing. It's after releasing, it automatically goes to the supplier's email. This is one of the modern technique we are using. The other one is iFirst. iFirst is the IT solution software now we are using as a PGP Glass Ceylon. From this we use for these vendor creations and the IT related solutions. We are using this iFirst system. The other one is you may know EMS, Energy Management System. This is one of the modern technique we are using. Let's say there is our oil LPG storages. If something happen, maybe it's the levels are going down, it will generate automatically email or SMS to the our mobile phones, so we can attend to the for the solutions. The other ones, if there is a unusual fuel consumption showing in the machine, that one also will come through the SMS. These are the main technologies we are using in PGP Glass on PLC. The answer is yes. Technology advancement equals to the supply chain systems.
Okay, sir. Thank you, Mr. Sarindu Rajapaksha and Mr. Sampath Taranga for your cooperation. Our conversation is now over. Over to you to Shashi.
Actually, it's very interesting discussion. As we come to the end of our supply chain forum, let's take a moment to reflect on the valuable insight and decision we are shared today. From distribution strategies to navigating industry challenges, it's been an enlightening journey. Viraj?
Yes, and I would like to express gratitude to our experienced speakers, Mr. Sarindu Rajapaksha and Mr. Sampath Taranga, for sharing their expertise. Your contribution have enriched our understanding of supply chain management. Before end of this virtual discussion, I invite to Hansini to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good evening, all of you. It's a great pleasure to thank you all in this grateful event. So, first of all, I extend my heartfelt gratitude for our special guest speakers, Mr. Sarin Rajapaksha, Distribution Center Manager, Senior Business Analyst at John Keels Holdings PLC, and Mr. Sampath Taranga, Assistant Manager, Supply Chain at PGP Glass PLC, for accepting our invitation and devoting your valuable time to us. And then I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the head of the department, Dr. J.D.D. Madhushankar, for his unwavering support and guidance to organizing this webinar. Then my special thanks to the lecturer, Mrs. D.M.D. Chaturika, as our Supply Chain Management Course Coordinator. Your excellent guidance and mentorship was a big help in making this webinar successful. Then my appreciation goes to all the dedicated lecturers for their invaluable presence. Not only that, I would like to thank you for all the members of organizing committee of ELEVATELOGIX for their dedication. Finally, I express gratitude to my all the batchmates in 2020 batch in the marketing department whose enthusiasm made this event a success. So once again, my heartfelt thanks to Mr. Saranga Rajapaksha and Mr. Sampath Taranga for sharing your knowledge with us. I want to emphasize the significance of this webinar as an undergraduate. This session has provided us with practical insights and real-world perspectives on supply chain management. So, I believe that the ELEVATELOGIX was a success. So, thank you all your presence and support for us.